Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls. Book 7 Under a Red Moon. This is Chapter 90, Halls of Bone and Ice. We were off last week for the, ostensibly for the holiday break, but really we were off because I was sick. And I'm still a little sick, so expect a little bit shorter session tonight. We're already getting a little bit of a late start, but we will probably be playing a slightly shortened game tonight. But we wanted to get in one more session before we take our break for December, as we traditionally do. And one way or another, we're going to get our usual interludes scheduled and either pre-recorded, or we may choose to run them live. But throughout the month of December, as is now tradition, we will be having one-on-one sessions with each character individually, in place of our regular Monday night stream. So, couple of announcements. First and foremost, since people are definitely keeping me on my toes with this already, if you look up in the corner, upper right-hand corner up above M, you will see the mysterious books. These are, of course, our domain tomes, which are domain dice for this game. Domain dice are, of course, a way that you, the audience, can have a little bit of an impact on the game through things like subscriptions, resubscribing, gifting subs, tipping $5, cheering 500 bits. All those things earn domain tomes that the players can use for things like re-rolling and a variety of other benefits that are spelled out in there in chat. So they can only get those through those various methods that I have just described. Let's see, scheduling wise, as we've already kind of told you what's going on with this game. Tomorrow night, we are currently planning Tuesday, which would be November 28th. We are planning to have one more session of Sky Metal Iron Gods, which is myself and M, along with Sarah and Karen and our incredible GM, Vi. If it's anything like last year, Vi's going to somehow twist the current ongoing campaign to make it fit a Christmas theme. So we'll see. Even if not, it's still an amazing story that we're having a fun time with. It only took 2 complete parties, a TPK, to get us to this point. But and then Thursday night, 2 Thursdays ago, last Thursday.
2 Thursdays ago.
No, 2 Thursdays ago, because it was the beginning. It was the beginning of COVID for me, and I finished the game in a fever, and I don't honestly remember the last half, but everybody assures me it was a great game. We had session 30, which was our season finale. Definitely tune in to the youtube.com/mini-terrain domain. Check out the VOD on that. But this coming Thursday is going to be, I guess, if we're doing it like the Who-niverse, the Doctor Who-niverse, it's going to be sort of like our Christmas special in a way. It's or episode 0 for season 2. It is a special session in which the characters engage in a little bit of world building. It's a little meta, but due to the revelations of the finale, the characters are all going to be meeting with the school guidance counselor.
We're going to get our class schedule and our locker combination.
Yeah, it'll all be innocent, no emotional damage, any of that kind of stuff.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We're going to join clubs.
And that will be our last regularly scheduled game, aside from the one-on-ones, for the year of 2023. As per usual, just a reminder that we as players have safety tools in place. We have discussed our lines and veils, and we keep that in mind throughout all of our games and all of our sessions. The safety tools allow myself and the players to be able to sound off if things are pushing boundaries or anything along those lines. We encourage you to also use safety tools at your own table. And the last thing I want to mention before we get into a recap and get into the game is just a reminder that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There's so many reasons that you can be struggling, and whatever those reasons may be, they are valid. Know that it is okay, not be okay, but you do not have to struggle alone. At any time, you can come into our chat and you can type !help, and a couple of URLs will appear. You can check out findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, Cari, what time is it?
It's time to find some paths, bitches, for the last time of 2023. Well, all together.
Right. And as per usual, I see Ricky has laughed as we are getting started.
A loser.
So,
who would leave at an inopportune time?
So, to bring us up to speed, most recently, you all met up with some various people in the town of Erglin in the Cinder Wastes, en route to the Gravelands, taking the circuitous route around the Mindspin Mountains. While in Erglin, you spent some time, however briefly, with some old sort of ostensibly family, in the form of Vornush'ka, the current chief of the roving wolves tribe of orcs, along with his blood-sworn mate Yeltha and blood-sworn best friend Rhaegar, who were antagonistic at best to Teera in their youth. See last season's or last year's one-on-one with Teera. Nonetheless, they provided a safe haven, as Vornush'ka is one of the primary warlords in Warmouth, where all of the various war gangs hang out in Erglin. And after a sandstorm, Yeltha came to you and confided that Vornush'ka is actually acting erratic, trying to do anything possible, including holding the former chief's body in stasis. Not even in stasis, really, just basically in a box in his room, with the intent of seeking out an artifact known as the Gift of the Frostheart, to bring Garm, the former chief, back. And has beseeched you and your group to go to this anachronistic, not anachronistic, but improbable, that's the word I want, improbable location of a frozen mountain in the midst of the desert, to retrieve the artifact before Vornush'ka can. Also during this time, of course, Vornush'ka met with some remaining members of the Blood Axe tribe, and Flip had an interesting spent some time with a new friend in the form of an ogrekin, learning some recipes, learning how to make some ooze booze, spending some good quality time during a sandstorm. And Marda has found herself in a bit of a philosophical dilemma, I guess, religious quandary, serving Pharasma, the desecration of, or rather the preventing somebody from passing into the afterlife, as Roniker is with Garm, is something that is very much against Pharasma, anathema to the tenets of Pharasma. However, in stopping this and going to this tomb, so is desecrating a tomb. So it's a bit of a quandary. You all flew to this location. Cleandra and Flip have stayed with the ship, dropping you off at the mouth of a cave entering into the mountain, and then keeping the ship aloft in the clouds, waiting your return. You all entered. You found a you passed through a location. The first location that you passed into was the Altar of Sorrow, and then you passed into a room where the floor was floating tiles of ice. It was a trial of tiles, where some of
tile
you,
trial, if you will.
yeah, a tile
Sorry,
trial, if
I
you
couldn't
will.
resist.
Some of you, such as Kane, the very first step he took, received a crystal skull worth 1,000 gold pieces, I believe. And also received a pouch full of a bunch of gold. Whereas when Teera pulled Marda onto a tile, Marda nearly died, suddenly being reduced to 1 hit point. Barely, you all managed to survive getting across to the altar where there was a magical hammer suspended aloft. And that is where we left off, with you standing before this hammer and reading the ancient common language inscribed upon this altar and around this hammer. The words that you were able to pick out, of course, were shattered, heart, gift, Frostheart, Khaled, and finally Dirkhead. In particular, those 2 last words having a very strong importance to Teera. So where we are picking up, of course, inside the tomb we have Teera, Kane, Vornush'ka, and Marda standing before this altar in this room. We are going to take a moment, however, to go outside the tomb, aboard the Zephyr Hawk. You, Flip, and Cleandra are aboard the Zephyr Hawk. You are flying around the mountain, the frozen mountain, after having dropped off the others. And at this point, as you are navigating around this, there is, of course, where the hot air of the desert meets the cold air of the mountain. It keeps most of the mountain shrouded in mist, so you're moving through clouds, essentially patrolling around this thing. It's, at this point, been a bit of time has passed. Maybe, we'll say maybe an hour since you dropped them off. I will say, obviously, your absence was the reason you stayed aboard the ship. It is your decision if you want to continue flying patrol and keeping an eye out, do something else, or if you want to go in after your friend. So as you are flying around for an hour, Flip, what have you and Cleandra been doing to keep yourself occupied?
Flip has been very subtly using psychological techniques to suss out how evil Cleandra is on a scale of 1 to 10, because he feels like if he was writing a story, that this is exactly how he would introduce the villain, by making them a very young, innocent-seeming child. And given all that's happened with these noobs over the last 2 weeks of their time together, he just assumes that they would absolutely welcome an evil deity avatar of some kind into the gathering. So he's working on that.
In what ways?
He's going to be using his backgrounds in psychology for sure. He's going to be asking lots of questions, and he's going to be. He's not going to be using any magic, I don't think, because he doesn't have any spells that would be useful toward that. But he is going to be using some of his many abilities at deception to suss out other people's deception. Because, as you know, he's a charming liar and a bunch of other different things.
A know-it-all.
And he's a know-it-all. What else is he? He's a confabulator.
What does the confabulator mean?
Even when he's caught lying, the circumstance bonus that a target gains for previous attempts is reduced because I'm such a great liar.
That's badass. That's a great little ability.
Yeah.
I love it.
Slippery secrets. What's slippery secrets? Oh yeah, that's that. I just basically pile lie upon lie and try and get them. Oh, lie to me. That's the one. You can use deception to weave traps to trip up anyone trying to deceive you. If you can engage in a conversation with someone trying to lie to you, you can use your deception DC if it's higher than your perception DC to determine whether or not they succeed.
That's applicable, all right.
I would like you. I would like you to use your deception.
Okay.
And I will be rolling for Cleandra. In general, when trying to be discreet about whether or not you're deceiving somebody, especially somebody at the table, obviously in this case it's a little bit different, but I will basically allow a roll deception or performance. You don't have to say which you're doing if you know what you're doing. It's more applicable if you're talking amongst each other. And then I will use the appropriate ability to try to go against that. So, what did you get?
For deception?
Yep.
38.
In the initial stages of your conversation, as you are beginning to weave your words in a way that you are subtly beginning the formation of this trap, you find that one of two things is true. Cleandra is either really telling the truth or is deftly avoiding your word traps in the first stages of this. If you would like, you can...
Or doesn't know they're lying. Eve, that's a third option. Like, let's just put that out there.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, potentially that is an option. Given that an hour is taking place, if you would like, you can attempt this up to 2 more times.
I'm also going to attempt to get a bonus through good role playing. So Flip is going to ask Cleandra. It's like, hey, so as you know about me, you've probably already realized that I believe that honesty is the best policy. And what I mean by that is I haven't listened to anything you've said since you joined us. I know other people have talked to you about your background. But my honest admission is that up until this second, I did not care. So, why were those guys after you again?
Well, as I told the others,
Yeah.
and Marda in particular, who does seem to care.
Oh yeah, Marda's big heart, huge heart. I mean, except for the twinges of evil in the background, and the darkened path that she once walked is trying to. But yeah, totally. Yeah, please continue.
I don't know anything about that, but I am the last of the cow dragon. My entire family has been hunted down and has been killed or has died. The ones that were hunting me were doing so because they think that if they can capture me and somehow control me, that they can claim my family's treasure hoard for themselves and fund their armies, I guess.
I mean, couldn't they just take the treasure hoard? Like, that rationale and logic doesn't make sense. Why do they need you?
Because they will never find the treasure hoard without. And the only way they can get it from me is if they can capture me and use magic to wring the secrets from me.
Treasure, right. Okay.
I mean, in all the tales I've heard, that's the main reason that people hunt dragons, trying to take our treasure.
I mean, they also can be dicks. I don't know how many dragons you've met. It's like sometimes you just gotta shoot a dragon.
She just furrows her brow at you at that.
What?
God.
Don't be a dick. Don't get shot. What do you want from me? Anyways,
I have very little real world experience with other dragons.
Okay, well, I've interacted with a few dragons, and let me tell you, they're sometimes pretty full of themselves, which really gets annoying. Trust me, you don't want to meet somebody who's full of themselves. Just talking about themselves all the time and how great they are. It's just grating, really.
I can't imagine what that would be like, Flip.
I know. It's challenging to we're all so humble here. You don't get out much, so I appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, family slaughtered, looking for treasure, right. Any evil rituals that you've heard about, bringing about the end of the world and whatnot, using your soul as an anchor to connect to some other nether region or something? No?
Her response to you is this. Blink, blink, blink. It's just like, what?
Oh, you never heard about that?
I honestly haven't been around long enough to have any idea what you're talking about.
So let's get into the more specifics of your story here. I'm cognizant of time, only because we can't talk forever. Because my friends are down there doing things. I gotta focus on them at some point. But really, I guess what I want to know is you're the last of your people. But like in theory, there were some elder of your kind, and maybe they were good at fighting, didn't suck and whatnot. So how is it that you, neophyte, doesn't know anything about the world, themselves, their abilities? How did you survive where all the others are deadski?
My mother died keeping me. The others have been hunted down over generations. And for over the last 100 years, it's been just my mother and I.
And so she died, what, last week, or?
It's been a year since she died.
You lasted a year? Wow. Nice work. Would have given you a couple days. But,
I would
How
like
did you
you to.
manage
I would
to-
like you to make another roll
You are
at this
such an
point.
asshole, and you're gonna get popped right in the mouth,
And
and you deserve it.
I will give you a +4 circumstance bonus for your interrogation techniques.
Awesome.
My God, yeah, get her fired up. Pick on the dragon.
Only
That's
because if
probably
I
a
didn't, I know you would contest it.
I'm gonna roll again. I'm gonna use a tome.
Okay.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Oh God, mother trucker! I'm gonna use another tome.
All right, so that's 2 tones. Right?
Use all the tones you need, man. All
I'm
of
using it. I'm using another one.
3
Let's go.
tomes.
them.
Three
Three
total.
tones.
I fucking rolled a 5, a 2, and a 3, but luckily my final
let's
roll
go
was a
for
Take
good
it back
one.
now, y'all.
So that's 41.
I'm not sure it's luck at that point as much as probability.
Let's see.
Thank you to our
41.
generous tome donors, who
You're welcome.
just spent 3 tomes on probably literally nothing.
No, it'll be something. It'll be very meaningful. You watch.
Throughout this conversation, to anybody, this is one of those things that it feels very much like the fight between the Man in Black and Inigo Montoya. Two experts in their field engaging in one of the most epic fights, and there is nobody around to witness it but them. The two of you are engaging in a verbal dance, the likes of which orators, liars, storytellers, and the such have never seen. And again, whether intentionally lying, obviously telling the truth, or, as you've suggested, unaware that they are lying, the two of you are matching each other's moves. Dance move for dance move, verbal spar for verbal spar. And you can't help but notice, much like Inigo Montoya admitting, I admit it, you are better than I. She is much more deft in her words and maneuvering around your questioning than you are. Mechanically, she rolled a, let me get the math right here a second. She rolled a 53.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that she's lying. That just means that she's, at the very least, sussing out what you are attempting to do. But also doesn't mean she's telling the truth. It's up to you.
My God, that's like pleading no contest. What does that even fucking mean?
That's the point. He hasn't beat her yet, so
Yeah.
he's not learning anything other than she's able to keep up with him.
I mean, he learned exactly what he needs to know.
Okay.
The fact that she can keep up with him says everything he needs to know.
Wow.
She can't be trusted, and she should be pushed off the boat. But she has wings, so he'll.
I would
think
like
of
you to
another plan.
roll a perception check.
A perception check. Related to what?
Related specifically to Cleandra.
Okay. Not so great. 21.
21.
Could be worse.
It's good enough that I'm going to give you this piece of information because I believe you, if I remember correctly, you had this language, you had sussed this out when you first met her. Remembering that she is called Cleandra, or has told you to call her Cleandra.
Mm-hmm.
But her full name is Cleena Lugenar Volkendrak von Heisvolk.
Okay.
The
You
Volkendrak
get
von
that?
Heisvolk means Cloud Dragon of Cloud House.
Mhm.
But Cleena Lugenar literally translates to Little Liar.
Oh, we
Mhm.
knew that.
Cleandra
didn't we?
is
We
a
have
shortening of that, which essentially means the same thing, Little Liar.
Sneaky little.
It's
shit.
very much like Lyra Silvertongue of His Dark Materials kind of thing, in interpretation. So do
Okay.
with that what you will. As this
God.
conversation continues and the camera pans down away from the Zephyrhawk down into through the clouds and into the cave, through the altar of sorrow to the shrine of the hammer, we come before the four of you standing at the altar where you have just read these words, Teera.
I would just kind of like look over at Kane and see if he sees what I'm seeing.
For the moment, Kane does not appear to have noticed. Now that you're here, he's allowing you sort of to check this thing over while he's looking at the two exits out of this room.
Okay.
And has also pointed out to Vornush'ka and Marda the fact that the tiles that you all just struggled across have solidified into a normal floor. So he's not even paying attention.
So this hammer, is this like you said it's like a little bit suspended kind of?
It seems to be hovering above the altar.
I want to get my hand close to it, but I don't want to touch it.
Lest anybody forget, one piece of information I did forget to mention, there is what appears to be a freshly severed hand gripping the handle of this hand.
That's why I said I want to get my hand close.
I know
there,
you
but I don't wanna
remembered
touch
that, but I wanted to make sure everybody, including the audience, also remembered that.
And as I get my hand close, like Teera kind of like pulls her hand back and she's like, Kane, come over here and look at this.
What is it?
Look. And Teera would point right at where it says Gift Frostheart Keled Durkhead.
Kane is looking at it with a furrowed brow. And he kind of goes, I can't read magical languages.
Oh, fuck. Was this in Celestial or something?
Nope. This was in common. Just really old common.
That ain't a Celestial language, you illiterate twit. It's common. It's just old common.
Teera. He kind of leans in closer to you. I can't read.
Oh, I feel so bad.
Don't laugh at him.
I'm not
Literally
laughing at
called him an
No,
illiterate.
I called him an illiterate twit. Well, and I feel so bad. Oh, Teera crunches up on herself, like her shoulders visibly
To
slump.
be
and, like,
fair, illiteracy in this world is not at all uncommon.
right.
But yeah,
I
he's
shouldn't have been a dick
basically,
about it.
and he's not admitting it to you like it's a shameful secret, but it's just kind of like it's something that's never come up before. He's just like,
Oh.
I can't actually read.
Oh.
I mean, I can understand a few words and phrases here and there when I see them. I have no idea what this
you
is.
know how to write your own name, don't you? Your real name?
I know how to write my name. Mother told us that.
I point at Frostheart on the hammer. I'm like, that look familiar?
Oh. What? And all of a sudden, he takes on that, again, sort of defensive look. Wait a minute. So why is our name here?
Oh no. But that's our name. And then that says Keled. And right there, and she points right at Durkhead and says, that's Durkhead, that's Dad. You think this was his?
Dad always used a greatsword, one he gave you when we left.
I know. I know that. I ain't never seen him use a hammer. But I mean, he was a big guy. He probably could have, right?
That hand looks too small to be Dad's hand.
Yeah. That was some weakling coming in here trying to take our hammer. I'll bet you 100 gold that's meant for one of us. You first.
I'm not touching it.
The hell you are? You're
You-
his son. It should go to you. Plus, I already got his sword. And I elbow him in the ribs.
You had his sword.
And Teera would look and she'd say, "Hey, the hilt is still his. That's the most important part, eh?"
Marda, can you make me a perception check, but I want you to also add your religion modifier as well.
Oh my. Oh my. Okay.
Isn't Marda's religion like a plus 21 or some shit?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Okay. I rolled a 4. I have a
But-
plus 14 to my perception, which brings it up to an 18. And I have a plus 18 on my religion, which brings it up to an amount that
36.
Yeah,
Good
37.
job.
You should use a tome and re-roll that.
You should not, Ricky. I think 36 is great,
No,
just the
that
way it
is
is.
excellent.
Going
The
right
DC
up on the fridge.
The DC was a 30.
Thank you.
The DC was a 30
Nice.
on this. As Kane and Teera are sort of having this sibling argument about who should take the hammer, Teera says it should go to you, you're the son. Kane sort of takes a big sigh of relief, or of not relief, of resignation. And he takes his hand off of the hilt of his own sword. And he sort of, very much in an Indiana Jones way, he sort of like cracks his knuckles. And he's looking, it looks like he wants to reach forward and kind of pluck this hand away before he grabs at this hammer. As he is slowly preparing to grab at this hand, Marda, it's sort of as you've been standing there and kind of looking things over, you know how when you're just standing there, you sort of shift your weight from foot to foot sometimes? It's as you shift your weight from one foot to the other, this altar that is frost covered has a layer of actual ice sort of over it. As you shift, it's like looking through the ice, you suddenly can see writing and runes carved into the stone of the altar that you couldn't see from the angle. And the inscription that you can read there, again, it's archaic, but the loose translation is something along the lines of an eye for an eye, a hand for a hand. And you realize that there is a magical spell protecting this hammer. The only way to take possession of this hammer is you must sacrifice your own hand.
Oh.
There is more with the 34 that you, or 36 that you got, which is with DC. Sometimes I'll do the first level DC gets you the base information. The next level, which was 35, gets you a little bit more. More of the inscription implies that this hammer is key to achieving the gift of the Frostmark. Like it's a necessary tool. So,
Sure. Yeah.
and you sort of, it's kind of like you're reading it, and then you're realizing what it's saying as Keen is starting to reach forward to grab this hand and pluck it away.
God. Oh, God.
Do you say anything?
Marda doesn't. Marda is going to watch very carefully, and she is going to try to kind of angle herself a little bit away from Kane, but like kind of take a few steps back, but she's just going to watch.
I have defended Marta so many times. She's not evil. She's totally with us. Oh my god, you asshole.
Oh,
Okay.
I love this.
I think I will say, as Kane is reaching forward, like when it's at its most tense, Teera would go, "Hold on," and like kind of try to startle him a little bit.
Well, before you do that, I have to make a roll for King.
Okay, this
So,
is
hold
totally
on.
unrelated to the runes.
Marta,
Teera does
what
not
did you
see
do
any of
real
this shit.
quick? So Marta, you backed away, or did you just stare? And
Marta
What did you do?
realized and did nothing. Is not saying anything.
Okay. Vorn's gonna look at Marta. And are you showing any type of facial expressions or anything? I'm looking for anything I can discern from you at all. No?
Curiosity, I would like a genuine, right? Like that's probably there. Just like kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just like interest, I guess. Idle interest, which is not a uncommon expression on Marta's face.
Marta, I
Idle
would like you to make a
interest.
deception or a performance check. And because you succeeded as high as you did, I'm going to give you a +4 circumstance bonus.
Okay.
And you, Vornush'ka, will make a... This is normally where I'd have you make an insight. Were we doing perception for insight?
Yes.
So, yeah,
I think
I
so.
will have you make a perception check, Vornush'ka.
Who am I perceiving? Just for Ooh. Well, that's
21.
a nat one that we're gonna re-roll. Much better. 27.
Oh,
Okay, so there's a couple things that are happening. Because Kane was in motion, reaching this. Marda sussed out what was happening. And Vornush'ka, kind of keying into the silence of Marda, just kind of looks in Marda's direction. A 27 beats a 21. You do see something in Marda's expression.
Mm-hmm.
Barely masked is...
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably an added level of curiosity of somebody who's like, something's about to happen and I want to see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time that Teera calls out, wait!
Mhm.
However, I've rolled a will save for Kane.
oh god.
Kane rolled a 23.
Damn.
Kane does not startle when you call out his name. He reaches out and you see him touch this severed hand.
Mm.
And he cocks his head to one side as if listening to something. He reaches over the hand, placing his own hand on top of the hand, ripping the fingers, and you hear cracking of bone as the frozen finger snaps. And he takes the severed hand, and he doesn't even look at it, he just throws it aside. There's a moment where he does nothing. And then you see him take his right hand.
I was gonna say, can I say one thing to him, real quick, or no?
You can certainly try.
Say, Kane, you should maybe. Do I know whether he's right or left-handed?
Kane's right-handed.
Kane, you should maybe use your left hand, just in case.
Kane
And-
takes his right hand and does not grab the hammer. He places his hand down on the altar. And very slowly you see with his left hand as he reaches to his side and he pulls out one of the hand axes. And you see him with this hand axe. I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm gonna do something that
Look how smart Kane is. Damn.
I'm gonna do
son.
something.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something that Cari. Oh, dang it! I'm caught my cord. Cari always does this. I never get to do this.
What are you doing? Are you doing a merch plug?
No.
Oh,
Vornush'ka looks over.
Kane
at
pulls
Marda.
out the hand axe.
badass.
Hold on,
That's
hold
so
on.
fucking cool.
Like, Vornush'ka looks over at Marda and is like, "Holy fucking shit!"
He's very. You see Kane. You can see the axe is trembling. Kane is fighting against some force. It's like his left hand and his right hand are working against one another. And as the axe starts to come up, he just goes, "Teera,
I want to help him.
Do
What
it.
do you do?
Do it.
the axe is coming up."
I grab his axe hand. I grab his axe hand hard.
All right, I need you to make an opposed athletics check.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought
shit.
you were gonna help him bring it down on the hand.
No, fucking! I don't want to cut his hand off. I didn't know he had to cut his own hand off. Jesus Christ, that's pretty dark. 34.
What'd you think it meant?
34. I thought it just got ripped off magically.
Marda is going to cast guidance on Kane for whatever resistance he needs
What
to
does
against Teera.
what does
Oh!
guidance do in this
Yes!
situation?
Let's go.
Grants a status bonus to attack roll, perception check, saving throw, or skill check.
Of how much?
A +1 status bonus?
So he gets an additional +1.
That's all? That seems dumb.
Well, I mean,
But yes,
guidance
I think that's it.
in D&D guidance gives you a 1d4.
You two fuckers will be real happy to know Tamiko is with you too as well. She
Is there
I see
wants him
that.
to chop it off.
I see that.
is there like a little magic glow or anything that happens when you do that?
It's just verbal, so you would see Marta say something. Her lips would move.
Vornush'ka,
Alright.
So I need,
can I like?
because I never will do this on my own. Only if somebody approves it. Kane would like to use a domain tome.
Yes,
Kane
Marta
is
approves.
most
Hold on,
certainly
hold
welcome.
on.
Too bad, you're outvoted.
The main tone for what?
To re-roll.
Oh, okay.
All right. What was your roll, Teera?
34.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with the second roll. He rolled a 3 on the first one. That's why I wanted to re-roll.
There we go.
How does
awesome.
how does that work?
It
Oh,
would
there
be a
we
shame
go.
if he
There we go.
lost to me fair and square.
34. Okay. So Kane rolled an 11, so his athletics is a 30 with the guidance is a 31. So now you have one hand up and are grabbing
I'm holding
his arm.
onto his wrist that has the axe.
And you can
like,
see him looking at you like he has no control, but he's fighting against you to bring the axe down.
to chop his own hand off. Okay. Teera panics. The only thing she can think. She has his hand with her dominant hand because that's just what she grabbed him with. She wants to grab the hammer with her left hand. Just grab it by the fucking handle.
Oh, does Marta see that?
Yeah.
For reaching? Marta is gonna go for Tira's hand. She's gonna try and like bonk it away with her stick.
All right.
Ow!
I'm going to say that's going to be straight dexterity opposed.
My phalanges.
Gonna try and pull
Vornush'ka is sitting here like in the back, like, holy fucking shit, what is going on?
Popcorn like fucking Michael Jackson.
After
I
we're going to
thought
see
about
how
running
this
up and
plays out.
tickling her,
We're going to see how this plays out because then Kane's going to do something. I don't know if this is going to work out, but
Holy shit.
Teera, with your right hand, as you've grabbed Kane's left hand holding the axe, have you grabbed his
I have him
arm?
by, like, the wrist.
Do you have his wrist?
Yes.
Okay. So you got him
It has-
kind of like this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then
So-
Teera's thought is that maybe if this hammer is like off the floaty pedestal, this whole magic effect might stop. That's her
Teera,
best guess.
make a dexterity check. Straight deck.
Dex check, huh? Wow. Okay. 16 for a
As
straight
you-
skill check. That's
As
not
you
too
go
bad.
to reach for it, out of nowhere, Marda steps forward and slaps your hand away.
Oh, what the fuck?
As that happens, I need to roll 19 plus 21. Kane goes like this,
Mhm.
drops the axe into his right hand, and he is going to bring it up and across his own wrist where you are holding it.
Oh no.
So I'm actually gonna
Can-
have Kane make an attack roll against himself.
Wow. Okay. I think this is probably happening too fast for Teera to do anything about it.
So Kane, let me make sure I do this right. So quick. Yeah, there's a lot going on really fast. Okay, so that's 30 to hit. His AC is 26. Teera, you feel your hand suddenly pull away as Kane slams the axe through his own wrist. You are now holding Kane's wrist and hand in your own as a spray of blood goes across the altar, the hammer, the back wall, you, and with his now free hand, Kane shoves his severed stump of a wrist toward that hand, and before it's even there, you see the blood from where his hand was, the wrist, start reaching out like threads of blood connecting to this hand. And in the space of a split second, as he's bringing it forward, you just see these threads going, and they just pull together, knitting together. And the hand gripping the hammer, which Kane had thrown aside. If you remember, he had picked it up, broke the fingers, threw it aside. In all of this melee between all of you, the hand had gotten reattacked. Nobody saw it. That's what Kane's hand is now attaching to. And as the process is complete, Kane lifts the hammer in his left hand away from, and you hear this sort of a as he pulls it up away, and he's still holding the axe in his other hand, and with the hammer he just takes the axe and sticks it back in his belt.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Kane, holy shit!
He closes his eyes for a moment,
Are you alright?
and when
Holy
he opens
shit.
his eyes, you see almost like an arcane blue across his eyes. They seem to frost over for a moment, and then he takes the hammer. I know what we have to do.
What?
With this hammer, we will shatter the guardian of this tomb and claim the gift of the Frostheart for ourselves. It could only be done with this hammer.
That was the most bitchin' thing you've ever done. Holy shit! And Teera's like punching him and just like giving him whaps.
What did you do with Keen's hand?
I think maybe in just shock, Teera still has it in her hand.
So you're like punching him with your fist and his?
And then I realize, and then I like put it down, and then I'm like whapping him with empty hands. I probably just throw it on the ground. I don't fucking know. And I kind of like look at him, I'm like, you want that back?
Keen will crouch down and pick it up. And as if he knows what he's doing, he just carefully takes the hand and places it where the hammer was. And as he goes to set it down, he just lets go of it, and the hand just goes... and it's just floating there in place of the hammer.
Teera would just kind of be watching this like stunned, and then she would kind of like look over at Marda, and she realizes the sacrifice Cain has made for this hammer, and she looks over at Marda and she's like, why didn't you let me help him, Marda? I didn't want that to happen to him.
And if you had known that that was going to happen, I am sure that we would still be standing here, you and Cain bickering back and forth as to who is going to make the ultimate sacrifice. If the ultimate sacrifice is going to be made, you would try and make it, and then Cain would be like, no, don't make it, I will make it, and then you wouldn't let that happen. So action needed to happen.
What
And-
did you... Sorry.
And she says, and now look, everything has worked out.
Outside the tomb, as Flip and Cleandra are continuing their circuitous flight around, just essentially taking long laps around this mountain, Flip, you and Cleandra hear a rumbling sound, a sharp cracking sound, and you watch as an entire face of one of the cliffs on this mountain breaks free. And if you've ever watched videos of parts of the ice shelf breaking apart into the sea, or like a massive iceberg calving, that's what this is like. It's like something of gargantuan size seems to be moving in slow motion as this massive face of the mountain just crumbles down, falling away. And inside, you all feel the entire tomb that you're in wakes. But Flip, do you have any particular reaction to this?
Well, that's not what you want.
Flip, I would like you to make a perception check. I'm going to have Cleandra do the same thing.
21.
As Flip, you are watching this crumbling face of the mountain and watching as all of these massive pieces continue to fall and break into smaller and smaller pieces, sort of cascading down and even falling far enough to where they move out into the desert sand a bit. You feel a hand on your shoulder. And Cleandra points past the mountain to the side at a place where the clouds have cleared, in the direction of Erglin. By this time, you've come around and sort of facing southeast. Drawing your attention you see that beyond the mountain, in the desert, you are watching, you see a sudden sandstorm kick up, and as if under extreme time lapse, it collapses back into the desert. You see the mountains, the Mindspin Mountains in the distance. You watch as clouds are rolling rapidly, dissipating. You watch, though the light doesn't seem to change around the mountain that you are at. You watch as the sun rises in the east over the Mindspin Mountains and arcs high over the sky, disappearing. And then moments later, rises again. Rises again. In the span of time that you've been here traveling, it looks like away from the mountain, time is moving faster.
Uh-oh.
Huh. Okay then.
That's... I've never seen anything like that.
Not sure there's ever been anything like that. So what do we do?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
I asked you first.
Should we go after the others? So maybe
Yeah,
get
sure.
ready for them. Go back to the entrance and hope that they come out soon.
Yeah, I guess we can just go in there, and I'm sure whatever traps they've sprung with their faces and whatnot, leading the way with their heads. Yeah, we can land and make some magic happen, you know? I mean, frankly, without me there, I'm sure at least half of them are dead. At the very least, we can give them a hand.
Jesus Christ. I'm very proud of you. Gold star.
I just got your comment. I forgot the same essentially thing played out in the house at Stapler Manor, looking out the window.
So yeah, we'll land and then we'll go in the thing.
So you land the Zephyr Hawk at the entrance.
Yeah.
And you are going to go in after them.
Yeah.
As the two of you enter, passing through this cave entrance, which, as you get close to it, it's literally a perfectly rectangular doorway, or square doorway. It's 10 feet by 10 feet. It's been carved into the ice and stone. And you find yourself passing down into a room known as the Altar of Sorrow, where you see a simple stone slab that's in an alcove of this chamber. There's a stone stairway that leads to the south. There's old copper coins, bones lying around, scraps of parchments, with old prayers and words on them. You can hear the wind rushing through. As you've entered into this place, it's so cold that the snow crunches under your feet. And already, as you enter into this area, you hear Teera's voice call out, wait. And then you hear Marda and Kane and Vornush'ka's voices as they are in some kind of conversation that seem to be coming from the stairs to the south. Cleandra says,
Well,
I think that's them.
Yeah, and look, there's stairs. That's handy. Let's go.
Why wouldn't there be stairs?
I mean, well, there's stairs right to them. It's useful.
So you...
Seems like it's too easy.
you descend down the stairs,
Uh-huh.
and at the bottom of the stairs, you find a excuse me, a much larger room, known as the Shrine of the Hammer. You see on the far side of the room, sort of to the southwest corner, you see the others gathered around some sort of frozen shrine. Everybody seems to be sort of paying attention to Kane, where Kane is holding a shiny new hammer, and just beyond them on the shrine, you see a severed hand floating above the altar. You also notice, and I would say Marda, of the group that's already in there, you would feel this. Before we went live, we were all talking amongst ourselves about reminiscing about the old tube TVs. So I want to use that analogy here. You know how when you would turn an old tube TV off, you just knew that a TV had been turned off. In the same way that when one was on, you knew that there was a TV on. There was a sort of electricity in the air. There was that static, but there was also that very almost inaudible
ambient
hum.
buzz.
Yes, the ambient buzz. Marda, you suddenly feel that as if somebody's turned on a television, an old tube TV. You feel this sort of, and the sort of hairs, the small hairs on the back of your neck stand up. As you turn around and you see that the floor of this room has once again turned into ice tiles.
Oh, God.
And looking across the room, you see Cleandra and Flip standing at the bottom of the stairs. Where, Flip, you also see the floor of the room are massive tiles of ice with a black void between them. It looks like the only way to get to the others is to cross over these tiles.
I imagine that Teera is like talking to Marda, and you would see Marda just kind of like look over, like not even listening if you're talking. She just like kind of.
Teera is having a moment of crisis, and she is very suspicious of you. And yeah, you're not listening, and that's okay.
Yeah, but she just kind of like holds up a hand.
What?
We can have this conversation later. I'm more than happy to, but she like points over across.
Oh shit.
Is there any other way to get them across?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't look like there's another way. Do they need to cross? That's the other question. So the tiles got us to the altar. Can we get to
the
that
entire
other set
floor,
of...
regardless of where you want to go in this room, you have to cross the tiles.
How far is it? How far is it between where Flip is and where the party is?
It looks to be from visual distance, looking at the party, what you see is they are about maybe 20 feet away.
Okay.
But when you look at the floor and you try to count how many tiles are between you and them, you start counting 1, 2, 3, and you, as soon as you get to 3, you lose count every time.
Oh, okay. Flip will try and chuck a rope over to them.
Okay. That's close enough. I'd say, like, you're obviously, I'm assuming you're holding one end of the rope.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take this. You have a 50-foot length of rope. You're able to toss it over that way. Whichever one of you wants to grab at that, you can.
Okay,
I guess
great.
I will. I'm a good anchor.
Yeah, you're a lot of dead weight. Sorry, that was funny.
It was funny. Teera doesn't have anything to say. She's spellbound.
Flip is going to cast levitate on himself. and he's going to levitate 10 feet off the ground.
Okay.
And he's going to say, "Pull me in."
Are you pulling him?
Well,
I am. I'm pulling him in. I'm a great mime right now. Uh-huh.
Flip, you are pulled approximately 5 feet forward.
Yeah.
And your levitation spell ends, and you drop to the surface of the ice. It's as if you've passed through an anti-magic field.
Okay.
Weird.
Dropping to the ice tile, I need you... Hold on, I put this away thinking I wouldn't need it again.
While Jake is looking something up, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, you can check us out, and we have all these great designs like this one and so many more. The ones for our Paradise game and all of our others. You can get on t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, mugs, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mediterranean Domain.
I think that's the longest we've gone without a merch break.
Also,
Also,
in edgewise.
new merch coming for Paradise.
Paradise
in the new year.
Academy.
All right, Flip. This is the most appropriate because this challenge is actually called the coin flip. I need you to call Skull or Bones.
Bones.
It is Skull.
Okay.
I need you to roll a d20, please, on the misfortune table.
There's a misfortune table.
Two.
That's probably fine. That's probably nothing.
Roll 3d6, Flip.
Okay. Ten.
Your maximum hit points and your current hit points drop by 10.
Okay.
This can only be recovered if somebody uses a healer's tools and spends the time attempting a treat wounds on you. Which
It's a shame nobody has healer's tools.
I think that is a 10-minute operation and can only be attempted once per hour.
Okay.
And you are now on the tiles. Cleandra is going to unfurl her wings as she steps into the stairway, sort of bracing herself. Her asomer wings sort of open up, and she looks at the tile next to you as a way of getting around you. And she suddenly pushes off with a big flap of her wings. And as she pushes forward, as the wings come down, you watch. Again, these wings are iridescent purples, blues, and greens, looking very much like a peacock feathers. As she goes, it's just a brilliant display of these iridescent feathers as they go everywhere, and her asomer wings dissolve into nothingness, and she drops down sort of almost to one knee on one of these tiles.
I like how she could have just taken a step, but that's not her style. She likes to do this whole thing.
It looks like she thought she could actually make it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
well,
because her wings are now gone. They've completely vanished.
That's a problem. That's not
who would like to call Stoner Bone? Or, not Stoner Bone. Skull or Bones. Stoner Bone.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
For Cleandra.
I had such good luck last time. Skull.
Bones. Roll a d20 for Cleandra on the misfortune table.
9.
9. As Cleandra lands on this tile, 12, 17, 18. Man, so many sixes. 24. Cleandra lands, and as Cain is standing there still holding this hammer, like against his will, the hammer suddenly goes straight up, and a beam of light shoots out of the hammer, striking Cleandra in the chest, She falls back, almost falling off this tile, and she takes 24 points of radiant damage.
Oh, damn. I will say, though, none of these have really measured up to Marda's loss of 140, whatever the hell Marda lost.
This was the first step. Flip, if you would like to continue moving forward.
Can Marda cast a healing spell on Cleandra?
You can certainly try.
I don't like how you said that.
Well,
I don't know if I want
I will
to.
say this. I
He's
will
just
say
fucking with
this.
me.
You know for a fact that you tried to walk on air and failed.
That's fair, but
Flip.
it is only over the...
Flip attempted to levitate above the tiles and immediately dropped. Cleandra attempted to fly and her Asimar wings just vanished. With that information, you can still attempt a healing spell if you would like.
What if you just tossed her a potion? These things don't beat out gravity, I don't think. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
It's like a
Shit.
deep thing from the abyss just comes and just smacks out the... No!
The severed hand goes, shoot, interception.
Yeah.
Or like the magic of the potion is gone, and by the time it gets to her, it's just fucking like Kool-Aid.
You know what? I think that's actually a really good idea. We're gonna toss a healing potion.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hold on. So can I get a lay of the land real quick? Where's everybody at? I got lost in the sauce.
You guys are all in the southwest corner of the room by the altar.
Okay.
Except
And-
for where you are standing, the rest of the room has once again turned into these magic floor tiles.
Okay.
Flip and Cleandra have come out of the stairway that you all came down and have both stepped onto tiles and are beginning to traverse the room toward the rest of you.
Okay. Can Vornush'ka say something to Kane?
Yeah.
What did you mean by taking it for yourself when you grabbed the hammer?
What do you mean?
You said you would take the gift of the Shadow Heart for yourself.
No, that is not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said was, I know what we have to do. With this hammer, we can shatter the Guardian of the Tomb and claim the gift of the Frost Heart. This hammer is the key to it. Without this, we would not have succeeded. I know that now.
And by we, did you mean us or you and your sister?
I know I'm the illiterate one, yeah. But when I say we, I mean all of us. We are a group. Have we not been working together all this time? Do you suddenly not trust me?
And she kind of like slants her eyes very deep. I've never trusted you.
Oh fuck.
Fair.
Oh no.
I will wait and see what this we means and how you intend to use this gift. Just be clear, Kane. We're working together.
Would you be clear that it is our father's name on this hammer? And it is our family's name that is on this artifact.
And we are risking our lives for your namesake. And she kind of turns her back and looks at the issue at hand with the tiles and all the bullshit. That's all.
Okay. Flip, would you like to continue forward?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
There is enough space between the tiles that you can safely move from one tile to another just by stepping across them.
Okay.
Stone, not stone. Skull or bones?
Bone.
Skull.
Jesus.
D20.
Okay. Where did my D20 go? Oh, there it is.
Incredible.
8.
Flip, you take a step forward, and as your feet touch the second ice tile, in the same way that when you are standing on ice, there's always a certain degree of instability. I know myself as a big guy, I'm very aware when I'm standing on ice that at any moment my feet can kick out from under me. There's just that sensation of lack of traction. When you step on this ice, Flip, the moment each of your feet touches the ice, that sensation of loss of traction turns to concrete solidity. You know without a doubt that you can't slip.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of you watch as from starting at his feet, Flip begins to freeze in place.
Can I yank the rope?
You absolutely can yank the rope.
I want to yank him to the next tile closest to us.
I would like you to make an athletics check, please.
Can do be. 23?
Roll me...
He's such a little guy.
Yep. Roll me a D100, please.
Okay. I got a 5. Just 5.
As you yank on the rope, it pulls absolutely tight as if completely anchored. I was determining whether or not the rope would break. It didn't. Flip does not move. Flip, you have approximately 6 seconds to get any words out you want before you are completely petrified. Now, to clarify, on each of your turns, you will be making a fortitude saving throw. This does not appear to be a Togo level permanent
Situation.
Mm-hmm.
but you have an opportunity to say some semi last words if you would like.
Flip will look down and he'll look to the group and he'll say, "Stay frosty, y'all."
And that's the last thing he says as he freezes. He's frosted over.
The fuck does that mean?
Go ahead and make a fortitude saving throw right now.
Okay.
Do it, Flip. You can do it.
Flip, flip, flip. That is a 20.
Okay, you remain frozen.
Okay.
Cleandra is going to make her next step. Somebody call it.
I'm
Fuller-
not gonna.
Cooler bones.
It's
Anybody?
always Skull.
It is bones. You guys have not hit one yet.
That is
Ricky, go ahead and roll up D20 for Cleandra.
statistically impossible.
Improbable,
D20.
not impossible.
14.
Sorry,
Incredible.
I just
I
saw-
love it when the GM laughs. I love it.
Sorry, it wasn't related to that. Tamiko says the real
Aw.
question is, does Ice Sculpture Flip have the fluttering cape?
I think it probably froze in mid-flutter. That's what I think.
I like that.
Majestically.
So we actually didn't resolve this, but Marda, you had thrown the healing potion to Cleandra, correct? And Cleandra, as Flip is taking a step and freezing, Cleandra is taking this potion and is upending it.
Is that medicine in real life?
No, this is a Gatorade.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Yes,
I'm
was
just
the answer.
upending a bottle of Robitussin
Well,
right
I thought
now.
it was almost gone. Whatever.
No, it's Gatorade. Anyway, as she takes this potion, you see that whatever radiant damage had happened to her starts to alleviate. I'm not going to have you roll for the healing because almost immediately she retches and no longer has the healing potion inside her. As she collapses to her hands and feet, she goes pale, or her hands and knees, she goes pale.
Ooh.
As Cleandra has just dropped 1 hit point.
Oh
She
no.
looks up from the ice, wiping her mouth, and looks at you, Marda, and says, I don't feel so good.
Oh God. Oh.
Flip, roll a fortitude saving throw, please.
Marta just gonna watch this happen too, I wonder? That would be interesting.
Maybe.
Well, that's a shame. Good luck, kid.
Flip,
Yes.
fortitude saving throw, please.
Okay.
You can do it. Let's do it. Flip.
21.
Flip remains frozen for the time being. Cleandra shakily clambers to her feet. And she looks next to her. She looks over at all of you. And she is going to step over carefully to the tile that Flip is on. Somebody call it?
No.
Oops. The first time
You
I
wanna
missed
do
one
it?
of these.
M? You unmuted. I think you want to do it.
Bones.
Gotta go skull.
It's a skull.
See? And you call bones. I said you gotta go skull.
Then why didn't you call it, Ricky?
Because she unmuted. I saw her unmute and I was like, I gotta let her talk.
All right,
Em got it.
M talk. Go.
D20.
Good for you, Em. Shit.
Leandra's life may be in the balance here.
Oh god. All right.
We'll get one of the good ones. Maybe we'll get one of the, like, she has a nagging itch on the bottom of her foot for the next
16.
couple of days.
She now has crippling anxiety.
Which one?
16.
What number did you say?
16.
16. Okay, that's better than
Starts
15.
hyperventilating in big groups.
That's better than 15, I'll
Bitch.
say that. Where did I put mine? I have so many things out. Oh, there it is. I have to check something. Is it...
She wishes the cashier to also have a good meal. The
Vornush'ka's
waiter.
You
Ooh.
see that that she continues to retch. Any ounce of healing potion, as well as just her overall demeanor, she's sickened. Let's see. Flip, give me another fortitude saving throw, please.
30.
Hey.
As Cleandra is getting sick, standing next to Flip, you hear a cracking sound, and Flip, you are suddenly freed as the 1/8-inch layer of ice surrounding your body seems to just break away and shatter, and you see Cleandra at your feet getting sick.
As the ice breaks down, Flip breaks into song and he says, "Stop, collaborate, and listen." And then he's going to look down and attend to Cleandro. So she's sick.
She is sickened, yes.
Uh,
She's gonna look as in between episodes. She just kind of looks up at you. Go. Just get across to them.
Vornush'ka whispers, "Ice, ice, baby."
Boom, 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 boom.
Flip is going to
The
try
altar
and
just makes the sound.
slide her forward on the ice.
To what end? Trying to move her to the next
Oh, wait a
tile?
second. Hang on. Yeah.
There is space between all these little tiles.
Why is Flip trying to get over to us? Shouldn't we be
Fucking
trying to get
hell.
over out?
Well, if he gets over to us, maybe the floor will become solid again.
Actions, items. Where's my bag? Actions.
That's what happened with us.
Elements.
Right.
Gear.
Once we got to the altar, it was.
Oh, I didn't write any of it down. Okay, it doesn't matter. Flip is going to take two 10-foot poles out of his bag. And he's gonna leash them together with the rope. He's gonna pull it back from Teera. And he's gonna sort of put her on top of the poles, like this makeshift sled, and then he's gonna push her forward.
Okay. So you're moving her to another tile.
Yeah, sure.
Are you moving with to the other tile?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll bet this is the time we're gonna call it correctly in the air. My turn.
Somebody call it
Bones.
for Cleandra?
Bones.
Bones.
Yes!
Finally.
Yes!
So also, while you roll that d20, Flip. Skull or
Go.
bones?
Skull.
It's a skull.
Yes!
So I need
2
you.
is what I rolled.
Okay, you rolled a 2. How very appropriate. Can somebody please look up for me what the highest level of healing potion is? I don't remember what they're called in this one and what they do.
Potion in.
I rolled an 8.
Pathfinder.
Okay.
Healing potions. Pathfinder. Healing potion. Healing
Major?
potion major.
And
We're
what
on
does
the
it
same
do?
page. 8d8 plus 30.
Wow. Because as Cleandra is pushed over onto this new tile, where she's lying, heaving on this makeshift sled, she brings her hand to her stomach, and as she's moving her hand, in each hand, one of these major healing potions appears. She has 2 of them now.
Oh my god!
And she kind of looks confused at them. Also, she made her fortitude saving throw, so she is no longer sickened.
Maybe we should save those. They're worth 5,000 gold pieces apiece. Just saying.
As you're saying that,
She's got like 1 hit point left, right?
she is already drinking one of them. She was at 1 hit point.
That's fair.
Dang it.
Yes.
Can somebody please roll 8d8 plus 30 for me while I resolve Flip?
I'll do it. I'm fast at math.
Flip, as you step forward,
Uh-huh.
something hits your shoulder and lands down on the ice tile. And then, dunk, 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 as if chunks of ice are falling from the ceiling. And looking down, you see dozens of multicolored gemstones lying at your feet for a grand total of 800 gold pieces worth of gemstone.
Okay. Well, better than a kick to the nut.
Also, as you step onto this final tile, Marda, once again, you feel that, and Flip, you would feel this as well, being a magic user. that sort of discharge of magical energy as the gaps between the ice tiles disappear, and the floor is once again frozen stone.
Called it.
Okay, well, great. Flip will undo the sled, put everything back in his pack, and he's gonna say, "Yes, up."
You made it.
I mean, of
Why
course
did
I
you guys
made it.
come down here?
Oh, well, there was some stuff going on. It seemed like time was acting weird. There was a landslide and like multiple sandstorms, possibly a monster creating them, hard to say. But I think whatever you're doing here, and I don't remember what it is because I wasn't really listening to the plan because I don't care. You should probably do it sooner rather than later, on account of the time and whatnot. It's almost like maybe time is moving slower here, or it's moving faster over there, or maybe some combination of both. Really hard to say, but chop chop, if you will.
I look over at Kane and be like, you probably should get on with it. The sooner we take care of this, whatever the hell it is, the sooner we can get out of here and take care of business in Erdland and then move on with our business.
Yeah, we need to get all hands on deck for this adventure.
Aye,
Well,
aye.
Kane holds the hammer in his hand. In his
His
left hand.
singular hand.
He has two hands.
He does?
He cut
Oh!
Yeah, the
he
hands
cut
are
off the
just-
hand,
Sorry.
and it was
sorry, I
replaced
forgot.
by the other hand.
Gotcha.
And he looks across the room to the east, and then he looks to the room to the west where the two entrances are, and he says, "Either way will take us. But that one," he says, pointing to the east, "will get us there quicker."
All right. Well, that's the way then.
And he
Is there
turns.
any particular reason why you say that? Is there some unseen force pulling you in that way? Like, it's sort of random that you just know that way's quicker. Have you ever been here
Nothing.
before?
Right, nothing's for free. If it's quicker, then there's a price to be paid.
Flip, my brother has powers now. It comes from the hammer. The hammer maybe was our dad's. It's got weird words on it. It's got our name on it. Flip, there's been kind of a lot.
I don't know if I would say I have powers. It's more like the hammer. It's more like the hammer's telling me. It's not like talking to me, but I can sense.
I
That,
look at Vornush'ka uncomfortably.
I can sense
Hang
that
on.
this direction is the shorter distance.
We should all
Well-
follow the instructions of enchanted weapons, possessed weapons.
This has been a long conversation I really don't care about. So let's proceed and exit as quickly as possible. I mean,
Let's.
my
After
family,
you,
my
Captain.
father, like all this. Oh yeah, you want me to lead the way? It makes sense.
Go for it.
I mean,
Perfect. Don't
yeah.
forget to check for traps now. Wouldn't want something to happen to you.
Excuse me.
Is that? I'm not sure why you're so pointedly saying that. I mean, I know we've only been traveling together for like a week, but of the people gathered here, I'm not the one who's led traps with their face, Teera. And he's gonna sort of look around pointedly.
I typically learn the hard way, Flip. You know, a wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from others. So check for traps.
My point was that I always check for traps, Teera. That was my point. That's the point that I was making, but it was lost on you because you didn't learn. So, this has been great. It feels like a big circle, as it always does when talking to you, but cool. Let's go.
Teera has a smile on her face, but it's that kind of mad smile, like right before you get into a fight. And Kane would recognize that, but she is doing her best.
Vornush'ka can't believe that she let Flip ride her down like 3,000 feet in the air like a surfboard.
Being a real dick, right?
So Flip, am I to
Incredible.
understand that you're leading the way?
Yeah.
As you traverse the floor, you do find that it maintains its presence as a normal floor. It does not turn back into tiles.
Okay.
Moving across to the far side of the room, you see through the doorway is a set of stairs descending about 30 feet to a landing that then turns to the right and then descends another 30 feet. Almost the way you're going down the stairs, it's like you reach a landing, come around, and it's coming back the same way but to a lower level. Excuse me.
Okay.
As you descend the stairs, reaching the bottom of the stairs, you are all looking into another room. This enormous feasting hall is a frostbitten shadow of its former glory. You see in the center a massive wooden table split in twain, bound together by iron bands, and a long spoiled feast sitting in piles under the shattered table. A series of faded tapestries around the room display various scenes. You swear you can hear from the ceiling above the sound of creaking ropes. For some of you, it's the sound of a hanged person hanging from a rope at a gallows or from a hanging tree. The table itself seems to make creaking sounds, and almost as if the wood is still freezing, like the sounds that an old house makes as it settles, the occasional pop of wood. As you step into this room, all of you feel a strange, unnatural hunger that stirs in your gut. A rumbling. You can smell, despite the frozen nature of it, you can smell the stench of the frozen, rotten feast. As you look around the room at the tapestries hanging there, though you see none hanging from the ceiling, the creaking persists, and you can see the shadows of the hanged dead people. But what you see on the tapestries, as you look around, the first tapestry, you see Vornush'ka leading a horde of orcs in battle. At their feet, the whole bottom of the tapestry is woven in various shades of red as the sundered bodies of hundreds of fallen foes lie at their feet. Vornush'ka is placed center, holding the blood axe aloft, with the same hues of red dripping from the blood axe. Teera stands at the head of an orc horde in another tapestry. The glowing blue light of the magical Frostbrand sword that she holds aloft seems to be illuminating herself and the horde of orcs behind her. But looking closely, in the very background, filling the sky, almost barely visible, hovering over Teera, hands outstretched as a puppet master wielding the strings of a marionette, is the Frost Witch, Melina?
Yes.
Frostheart.
Good remembering. Good pull.
In another tapestry, we see Flip standing center stage before massive crowds of onlookers. At the foot of Flip's feet, more shades of red, same shades of red decorating Vornush'kas, but it is not the blood of sundered enemies, but instead the entire stage upon which Flip stands is littered with dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of roses.
Oh.
In the audience admiring Flip are the trolls of Skull River Crossing, the people of Turtleback Ferry, others that are unidentifiable to any of you. Looming in the background is the view of the ancient grandfather tree where you first met Flip. And at the fringes of this tapestry are dragons. The final tapestry we see is Marda, center of the tapestry. In the immediate perimeter of Marda, we see numerous students of some sort of university at Absalom that are eagerly listening to the words that Marda has to say. But at the fringes, around the edges where all of these students ring themselves around Marda as if in a school circle, we see pale reflections of them, every one of these students, as if hands, we see ghostly spectral hands coming up from the bottom of the tapestry, grabbing at each one of these individuals and attempting to draw them downward. In these fringes and these spectral images, they are all in various shades of violet and purple, the colors of Pharasma. And we realize that looking at this central figure of Marda, her expression is not focused on the students that she is teaching, but instead on the souls that Pharasma is claiming. Behind Marda, barely visible in the shadows, is another woman who looks very similar to Marda. Marda, you would recognize this as Petra. And in the doorway where Petra stands, barely visible, woven into the shadow, appears to be many of Petra's allies, as if they are coming to stop. As you are taking in all of these tapestries and you come around at last, you realize while you were observing the tapestries, the room had changed. No longer is the room frozen and the table broken and the feast spoiled. The room is now illuminated by crackling braziers in each corner of the room, a warm glow, and even still you feel the warmth of the fires in this room. The grand oak table in the center with the massive iron bands holding it together is whole. A delicious feast that smells magnificent sits upon the table, and your stomachs growl once again. At the head of the table stands a woman who says, "It is about time you have arrived. We have been waiting for you." It's Petra.
Oh.
To Petra's left is Togo.
Oh.
To Petra's right is Vorn. Next to Vorn and Togo are Dirkhead and Melina. Also seated at the table is Vornush'ka. Vornush'ka and Vorn's mother. Flip, who from your
There's
past
nobody here for you.
is seated at this table, if anyone?
There would be no one.
Oh, I was joking.
At the opposite end of the table, closest to you all, as you hear a gasp from Cleandra, you see a man and a woman sitting opposite each other that have a very regal bearing to them. They appear as elves. And you would even notice that as their appearance looks like elves, Cleandra's appearance changes slightly. She maintains most of her overall appearance, but the wings do not return. Her ears elongate slightly, and her features sharpen ever so slightly as she now appears before you as elven. Once again, Petra says, "Please come in." And she gestures, and where a moment ago there were none, there are now 6 open chairs amongst everyone else at the table. You look famished. Come join us. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Oh, you fucker. That was a lot. That was a action-packed 3 minutes.
Listen, you gotta end on a good cliffhanger when you're ending for the year.
Yeah, that's a good one, all right.
And
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Why doesn't Flip have anybody? That makes me sad.
You know,
Listen,
Flip has a lot of people that love him, doesn't he? He always says so.
it seemed like a because Flip is such an enigma to all of us. I wanted to give Gary the option of
Absolutely
who would be there. And you were making the joke as I was about to say, if
I'm
anybody.
so sorry. I'm
'cause
so sorry.
I like to think that I know Gary enough that he was probably going to take that option.
So does Flip have like 100,000 followers but no friends?
Oh,
I think there's a lot to Flip that people don't understand. And this
Oh.
is going to be one of those things for the time being.
incredible. Shit.
All right. Well,
Shit.
there was a moment there I was wondering if I was going to do a repeat of the Kids on Bikes finale where I said, "Hey, let's not take a break. This will probably be over soon." I said we would have a shortened session, and we almost ran the full time. Although we did start 20 minutes late, so
Yeah,
the
it's about
session
2
overall
hours.
is about 35 minutes shorter. But still,
Wow.
I just got into that whole last thing. I
Wow.
didn't know for
It was
sure
good.
if Flip was going to follow you all into the tomb, but I did know that if Flip did come in, it was going to reactivate the ice tile trap, or puzzle, I should say. So obviously that took some time, and then there was another way to go. So I didn't know which way you guys were going to go. I'm glad you followed Kane's suggestion and went to the feast hall, because
The biggest twist in the world would be if Petra's the evil one. I kind of assumed, no offense, Em, that Marda was the evil one of the sisters. But okay. We're about
Well,
to find
so
this all mystery.
Are these people that are at this feast, are they actually there, or are they like apparitions?
I will say, for all intents and purposes, everything you see in this room appears tangibly there. You feel the warmth of the fires. You smell the delicious feast before you. And you can sense the presence of the people in this room.
Interesting.
Some
Are there
tiny
even
wimey shit.
Are there even
Tiny
turtles in Pathfinder? Are there turtle people?
Ah,
Because there is now.
There
there
are
are
now.
now.
So
What the fuck is that?
everybody's like,
Oh my god.
all right, well, as I said, we are taking a break from this for the rest of the year. Traditionally, we take the break in December. However, each Monday in December, we will be having either pre-recorded or live, as the schedule permits, one-on-ones with each of these players. I will be working to schedule those with all of them, and we will get to see, once again, glimpses of a portion of these characters' lives. A reminder that tomorrow night we will have another session. We are planning another session of Sky Metal Iron Gods, a D&D 5e game, And Thursday will be the special in-between season episode of Kids on Bikes, which will be our last one for the year. So with that, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who joined us tonight in the chat. Thank you. Always love seeing so many people engaging in the chat, though I can't follow along. I have seen some of the people popping in and some familiar faces. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for this tonight. It feels good to be back in the saddle. I've been sick for almost 2 weeks. And I'm feeling more and more like myself. Yeah, that brief moment of hearing my own
terrifying.
voice. That was me opening Twitch to see who else was live because we're going to raid somebody. But I hadn't muted it yet. So you heard the delay of my voice.
That was like a horror movie. I was like, what?
I was gonna let it go, but all of a sudden you guys definitely caught up on it. But yeah, thank you everybody. I want to say this as this is basically our last session of the year. I want to emphasize to all of you that are watching with us, whether you're watching now with us in the audience or you are watching later on the VODs, however it is you choose to join us, we genuinely appreciate you. I absolutely love seeing people join, people from the community and new faces. It means a lot to see so many familiar names in the chat, and when we see new names, it means a lot to see people in the chat that are enjoying the game, engaging with the game. Whether you come in for a few minutes, you lurk, or you stay for the whole thing, just know that you are appreciated. If you aren't already there, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Please consider joining us over on the Discord. We have a pretty active Discord in the MTD community. People are looking for games, all that kind of stuff. We have a still active Baldur's Gate 3 community. We have public rooms for all of our games where you can share clips and we'll share information about the game. So just know, I wanted you all to know that you are appreciated, which is why you get the upbeat music. We never get to play upbeat music in this game, so
it's great.
But yeah, and if you are somebody that traditionally joins us and lurks, you just listen quietly in the background, know that you are also appreciated. I appreciate that you don't necessarily want to engage with chat. You just want to listen. I know that some of you out there find us later on, or you engage on YouTube watching all of the VODs, sometimes commenting. Regardless, just know that you're appreciated. And I have to say, as I always do, just a huge thank you to this amazing group of friends. There's a reason you see some of the same people on different games that we run here on MTD, is because we are all genuinely really good friends. We love playing games together. We love spending time together, and telling stories together. And that's the case with all of these people at this table. I genuinely value and love each one of these people, each one of you, as some of my best friends, and I love getting to play these games and tell these stories with you. So thank you, as always, Gary, Cari, M, and Ricky. Before we head out of here, and just stick around for a moment, we are going to raid our friend Tildaloo. It's been a while since we've raided them. They are playing some Stardew Valley with a friend, it looks like. Yeah, again, thank you to Gary, Cari, M, and Ricky, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Metadata.